I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my sponsor, Rycor Countertops. They deal in custom countertops in quartz, Corian, Meganite, laminate, and butcher block. They also have custom kitchen cabinetry, closets, laundry rooms, and millwork. They're family owned and operated for 18 years, knowledgeable and highly experienced staff, and friendly customer service. Head on over to 1069 Clark Road. Check out their showroom today. Welcome to Studio 88. Today, my special guest, Theo Toney, veteran of the sport, been around for a long time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming. And I understand you took the bus in. It's hardcore.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I appreciate that, man.
Anytime.
That shows dedication. So, Theo, you got a fight coming up? June
Yep,
15th?
June 15th. I'm excited.
I bet. I'm getting a lot of feedback from it. A lot of people are saying, you brought Theo Toney out of retirement. and I like to think that Theo brought himself out of retirement.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to just jump into past Theo.
All right. So
where'd you get started?
All right. So past Theo, big Ninja Turtle fan. Shout out to Ninja Turtles.
Hell yeah. Michelangelo, Donatello, Leonardo, Raphael.
Michelangelo, because I do nunchucks. Big fan of Bruce Lee. I was really passionate about the sport. And, so I've been able to meet some amazing coaches, some amazing individuals that I got to work with. Of course, one thing with me is I'm so passionate. I love it. I live it. The one thing that the new Theo now is able to find a balance, right? So the old Theo, a lot of injuries. I didn't always have the support, the team. Jumped in there and just fought, right? So the one thing about me is that, I'm human, I've lost, and, I fought, right? I didn't always fight under the best circumstances, but I fight. That's what I do. The one thing is my superpower is I can take a beating. I fight and I fight. My message is always going to be never give up. Follow your dreams and never give up.
Wow, that's impressive. When you got first started out in martial arts, where did you start? Was it
I started off with wrestling.
Okay.
Right in my high school.
So wrestling is your base.
Yes. So I started with wrestling. I went through the ranks. I managed to really train with a lot of amazing Olympians. I went to Ohio State, trained out there. Got to train with Clarkson University. Got to train Guelph. Brock. Got to train with many, even Daniel Galli, a lot of Olympians. So it was something that was really was bred into me. And, the one thing is that the spotlight was always on me. And that's something that, I've had to, the new Theo had to learn to now to face, because old Theo was there, the nerves obviously always kick in, you're not used to that spotlight. So it's like the old Theo now, the old Theo, it's like you go in there and you're so passionate and sometimes that you get overcome, right? So the new Theo, I'm excited because it's where, yes, I came out of retirement, but was I really retired, right?
Sometimes you're waiting for that perfect opportunity.
Yes.
As well, right?
So, and I'm waiting for the opportunity, but at the same time is I had to create that opportunity, meaning that it was where I had to be like, I'm very intentional, right? Shout out to Flex Life Fitness. That's where I'm at. And, Carlos Puckrin, Chris Brookbanks, and my good buddy Griffin Hanzor, we're very intentional with what we do. So from even my schedule, everything is plugged into my schedule. It has to be meticulous, everything. So
okay, so speaking of meticulous schedule, give me a walkthrough of a day in the life of Theo Toney.
Okay,
so you wake up in the morning.
So my alarm clock goes off at 4:15 a.m. What I do is I'll get up, I say a couple mantras, I listen to Eric Thomas. I got to start my day with motivation, right? Brush my teeth, wash my face, have a cold shower. I go down, I have
Why cold shower?
Cold shower is just to spark the body, get the circulation going, just spark the mind, get everything going. Then what I'll do is I'll have like some cereal, and then I'll usually have, make sure I have some eggs. That's my second breakfast. I get to the gym. Usually I'll check my schedule. I'll have my eggs. I'll start off with a couple of my clients, and then after that, usually then I'll do a little bit of cardio, right? And then after I'm checking my schedule again, I'll do a couple posts. I'm reaching out to, following up a couple clients, reach out to some new clients, and then usually have my other clients then. Then what I'll do is I'll get in some little lifting, just some light lifting. Then after I'll do some stretching. then do some posts, reach out to some clients, check my emails, you know, walk around gym, see what needs to be done, usually eat. And then what I'll do is, have a couple clients, I'll either leave or go do some stuff.
So you spend a good majority of the day dealing with other people's fitness
Yes,
besides
yes.
yourself.
So
And I see that online.
yes,
That's
and that's the one thing with me now is where I've always been, of course, in a gym setting where it was focusing on me, but now I've learned to figure out a balance. So the cool part about it is I'm back doing this for me, right? It's not because I have to, but it's because I want to, right? So it's so meticulous where I'm putting in that effort to even health-wise, man, last year I put on 20 pounds. I allowed myself to grow, to build. I went up to 178 pounds for the first of my life. I'm on the best vitamins in the world. I'm very, very meticulous. Even now, mentally, I got to deal with other people's problems. I got to be very patient. I have to, everything has to be planned, right? I have to make sure that my time is put in wisely.
almost as like
right?
an obsession compulsion.
Exactly. So even
Would
now,
you say you're OCD on all this stuff?
yes, because
I kind of think you have
before, yes, it's true. Because before, the young Theo is like you go in there and you're kind of just, you're there and you're doing it, you're excited and,
just winging it.
yeah, you're winging it. And you don't realize the potential. Like, I didn't realize my own potential. The spotlight's always been on me and I go in there and people are like, oh my God, this guy's jacked, he's ripped. And you don't understand until you have to really, it's almost taken away from you. Then that's why I love the fact that I'm the most flawed human on the face of the planet. I love it because I embrace that weakness and it allows me to truly grow, to always challenge myself. So it's where I'm being meticulous and not taking anything for granted. I'm making sure that even my training schedule, it's like I'm doing many different types of training. So it's not just one style, it's many styles. And it's just me being the poetic hitman. Just being balanced.
I
And,
used to love all those little, the poetry.
Yes. I'm very, like a lot of my mantras, I say, I go to war with my hands, but I feed opponents with my mind, right? No time to hate because I'm too busy becoming great. Success is inevitable because I'm better than incredible, right? I don't worry about defeat because I'm not a foot doctor, right? I train today to be better than I was yesterday. It has to be meticulous. You got to go in there and even sometimes it's like I was back walking to the gym, just doing things. Be like, man, why would you do that? It's far. Like, listen, I can't think like that. The moment you start thinking, you give yourself excuses, you don't realize, because young Theo didn't realize all these opportunities that were thrown at me. Didn't realize it. Like, I was fortunate to, to be in, in Ontario when it was just starting. And, we met on one of those Indian Res cards and it was pretty amazing, the first time I met you to really go through that. And, I'm a young nunchuck master and just playing around, having fun. And
who taught you nunchucks?
So funny story was I saw Ninja Turtles and I saw Bruce Lee. I picked it up. I'm self-taught. So I picked it up and I didn't understand it for a bit. So I remember 9 months, didn't touch it, put it down. Then one day it clicked that because I love music too. So I got back into music and just started swinging and started to understand certain things. And so I started to freestyle and just flow. Then as I started getting better, I didn't realize, I'm like, man, maybe I should be looking at other people and seeing what they do. So when I started seeing what they did, I was so far off on my own. And I realized, wow, I have my own style. So I remember I'm just playing around and just and having fun with it and moving. And then, I legally smuggled nunchucks across the border and end up, I did.
Are they legal though?
I got the real ones.
Okay.
Right, off the record. But no. So I went and I did a tournament and I remember I was so nervous that I did blindfolded. And I went in there and I did it. And, these grandmasters was like, why didn't you tell us you're doing it blindfolded? And it was the best kata I've ever done and that I don't remember. Right. But I went in there and I freestyled and it was just me.
Just flowing with the
I just flowed.
I remember, actually, I had you do a martial arts weapons demonstration for one of my shows back 2 years ago, I think.
To be honest with you, that was me doing it, but I wasn't believing it. Because the hardest thing for me is I don't like to live up to my hype. Everyone's like, oh, you're amazing. I'm just a human. I'm just a human that likes to punch, kick, choke, wrestle, whatever. Yeah,
because the reason I remember I reached out to you to do that is because when I first met you, was back on, I think it was actually Walpole Island was one of the fights that where everybody was traveling out to and watching these fights. And you were in the back of the corner. So picture an arena and you have a warm-up room, where all the fighters are all on the mats. Everybody's training. Everybody's hitting mitts. Guys are in the corner sleeping. Everybody's prepping for their fights for that evening. And there was Theo, nunchucks, full force, just whipping them. And everybody was in awe, because it was like, that's not what everybody's here doing. Everybody's hitting mitts, or everybody's getting warmed up, and this guy's using nunchucks. This guy's got to be something spectacular. And to be honest, I don't even think you fought that night. Because
I was there most of the time. A lot of times I was there to even support the team. You know, at the time, Kyle Preplik, was there. Amazing guy. I had a lot of my, a lot of my mateys teammates at the time were there. So I was there more. Like, reason why I say this is for me now is because before I was there supporting the team, helping them, I was matchmaker as well. I was helping them get fights, contacting the promoters and really helping them. Really
Chucky's
doing
on
that
the
for
card.
them.
I'm really happy
Right?
about
Yes,
that
yes,
too. Yeah.
yes. I was really helping them, getting them ready. And so even myself, unfortunately, like, I didn't always put energy into myself, even health-wise. Like, I'm crazy where I've pushed myself to some limits. So this is where, it's an opportunity now to take all those experiences and all that fun and really be meticulous and really to be an adult about it. I love, I have fun with them on Orthodox, but this is where now it's like, man, this is what I do. This is what I love doing. This is where,
What's your background? Where are you from? Like, were you born and raised in Windsor?
I was born in Toronto.
Okay.
So what happened, I moved to Windsor, and, it was a bad circumstance where a guy cheated us out of money. And so right away for the first 3 months, we're homeless. Right. And so I'm
when
there.
You say we, you mean like mom,
my dad and my brother and myself. My mom, she was still in Brampton. My sister, I think she moved on her own. So this is the moment where I was all in. And I remember I just worked 3 months straight, just gave my dad the money. I was just all in. And so I just so happened I met someone like, man, I know you're a wrestler. And I was like, whoa, really? So I put in the work, and I went to the club, and I just never left. I was there all the time. And that time I used to run home. I remember it was 7K. I used to run home. I run to the gym, train, run back home. Run to gym, train, run back home. Run to gym, train, run back home. Right? So Tecumseh Road is always going to be in my heart for that reason, where I was so intentional. I used to cry. Like, for every hour in the gym, I'd put in 7 hours on my own. Right? And even just to stay out of trouble, I'm doing nunchucks in my backyard. So I'm in the ghetto doing nunchucks. Right? And it just something that kept me focused, just because I wanted it. And I didn't realize the potential. So I was so focused on the training, I didn't really understand the plan behind the training. I just trained.
So when you always compare old Tony with the new Tony, Theo, what was the epiphany? What was it that, what made you, what flicked that switch? Something happened that had to happen, and what was that?
Well, it was because at the end of the day, I was very impulsive and wanted it, and that was like the hitman side where I just went and I just did, right? And then the poetic side was I was soft. I had the heart to it, but I wasn't putting it all together. So a couple of times, of course, getting in trouble with the commissioner where I was under suspension and then fought while under suspension. I just loved it so much. I was trying to, like, I was focused on helping other people that I didn't really put the proper methods into doing for myself. So what clicked was especially after a couple health issues, and I had to step up and face them. And I realized, listen, if I really want this, I got to put the energy in. I'm not going to rely on other people. Right? That's why, I'm grateful for my sponsors, because originally I'm like, listen, I'm going to go in there. They've already supported me. I'm just going to go in there and do me. Right? There's a lot of amazing people like, Penalty Box, good friends with amazing guys,
Shout out to Penalty Box.
Shout out to Penalty Box,
100%.
And it's like, there's a lot of people I know definitely would support me, but I'm like, listen, they're already there for me. Let me go and do this for me. And last minute, there's a lot of sponsors, a lot of people have come to me to support, and, it's amazing, where I put out the effort for my clients, for my people, for my family, and it's like, they flip around and now they're supporting me and really helping me.
Yeah, it's the last couple podcasts I've done. The Windsor community
Both.
it's actually nothing like I've ever
Yes,
seen.
I'm not from Windsor, but what I love is that there's a really good people. People have amazing hearts.
Like,
That's why as I'm here, it's like, I try to capitalize on it. I tell people, listen, you guys got amazing skill sets. You guys got amazing hearts. Let's market this. Let's build this because it only makes sense.
Because the card itself, the fight card itself,
Amazing heart.
is everybody from Windsor.
Yes.
And to have a stable of guys in one city.
Everyone's got a story in that card too.
100%.
It's amazing.
They do. And that's when, the whole point of really is having a podcast is to kind of talk about that, to kind of really see a different side of things too, right? That's really amazing. So the fight coming up June 15th.
Yes.
Do you know anything about your opponent?
I've grown up with him. I've seen him
because I think this is the only fight that's actually Windsor.
Yeah. Like I've honestly sometimes I'm so zoned in. I fought on cards with him. I haven't really watched him fight too much. I've known him pretty well. And a phenomenal guy. Like, it's funny because right after his last fight, reached out to him, like, you're amazing. Like, I'm so proud of him. Watched him fight, proud of him because he's managed to put together a good balance, right? So, and me, like, I love fighting. I focus more on myself. So, no disrespect to my opponents. I build me. So, at the end of the day, is like an amazing guy. I love him. And it's me just doing me. So, what's different with this is me putting together a balance. So it's a great matchup because he's managed to put together a balance, right? But one thing with me is that I'm not your typical fighter. I train as a martial artist. So that's
what I love about you.
Is I'm going to eat,
traditional
sleep.
Martial artist side.
That's why for me now, it's like people are like, oh, he's retired. But was it really retired? Right? I actually came out of retirement and I fought bare knuckle and won back my title. And then I fought again as well. So it's still been in me, but the key was the balance. The key was having that support system, that team, because I could have done it on my own, but it wasn't about that. It was trying to build a legacy and something that's going to be sustainable because I've always had fighters and people come to me, the business side, but it was really trying to put it together. And I'll never forget, I had a multimillionaire sponsor and he sent me to go train with Pat Miltich. And he said to me, Theo, the reason why I'm supporting you is because, not because you could break fighters, but you could make them. So part of me it's always trying to build and help the next generation. But at the same time as I'm not done. I'm not retired. Like I've it's
the spark is still in there.
And it's funny because
I don't think that'll ever go away.
Exactly. That's why now as a martial artist, it's long term. Like I've even my training regime, like it's not sane. Right? Like I purposely set myself up so I can live it. Right? So there's no, it's just like I schedule my everything around training. Right? From, even when I used to go to the gym at 3 a.m., it's just like everything is scheduled around it. I set myself up where I could actually do it, right? Without those health consequences. So it's just every day, all day. Just every day, all day.
What kind of supplements do you take?
I'm on this. It's called Peak Performance.
Who makes it?
It's a Melaleuca.
Okay.
It's an online shopping club.
Gotcha.
So what I love about it, it's maximum absorption. So absorbing the body the fastest. So I have an AM and a PM pack. I have some amazing some snacks, right? As well as I have what I love with my team. I have my good teammates that they're gonna make me meal plans. You have my workout plan. I do everything. Like I'm stretching. I stretch about 7 times a day. I'm working and I work with people that are injured. That's why I'm a personal trainer. I work with a lot of people that are injured. So it's me taking them through processes that, the old Theo knew but didn't really take advantage of. So I'm doing a lot of stretching. I do my meditating. I do my weights. I do my nunchucks. I do my bag rounds. I'm being intentional. I make sure that, I live it. Even I retired from security. I love that aspect and it gives me the application process. But, this is what I do. I've always been a fighter, I'll always be a fighter.
So with the dedication, with your lifestyle, which when I see it, when I how I think of you and how I look at you, I see motivated, dedicated, completely on track with life. Who do you look up to? Like, is there a martial artist that you look at and say, I want to aspire to be like that guy, or I like that guy because
it's funny you said, because the old Theo, of course, Bruce Lee, like Michael J. White. There's a lot of like even Kung Lee. I talk to him every now and then. Amazing guy. GSP. But now the new Theo, there's guys like Grant Cardone, right? They're like Tony Robbins, Inky Johnson, Eric Thomas. It's more of a well-rounded fact. I'm not just looking
a bigger picture
to exactly. So because that's the one thing with myself was that, listen, like I've trained, I've trained one time. I've trained from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Twice I've trained from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I ran backwards 10K. I've cut 15.
You ran backwards?
Ran backwards 10K. I've cut 15 pounds a day. So there's that part of me that's crazy, and I'll do it.
Yeah.
But what it was now being intentional, putting myself through things that scared me, right? Because it's very important to, success is another side of fear. So you have to now
I agree with that.
take yourself outside of your comfort
100%.
zone. So it's not just me now being the fighter, but the martial artist, being the businessman, being that well-rounded guy that's going to step up. Because even for myself, it's funny because, the spotlight, this time now it's the spotlight's going to be there. Just embrace it. I don't go in there to be intentionally. It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be an amazing fight. But it's just me. It's what I do. Just go in there as a gun. It's everything I do is there's going to be a hype to it. There's going to be, people are going to they're going to look like, oh my God, it's going to happen. I don't mean it. Personally, when I wrestled, when I started, it was boring, but people just gravitate to that.
Amazing. Theo, tell us where we can find you.
You can follow me on Instagram, Poetic Hitman. You can even put in Poetic Hitman in Google, you'll see me. Shout out to my sponsors. I got Flex Life Fitness, Cobra Inspection Plus. I got Armando's Pizza at Tecumseh. I got Zeke's Drywalling, and of course PFC.
Yes, sir. Okay. June 15th at the St. Dennis Center, you'll catch Theo Toney live.
The one and only.
The one and only.
AKA the Poetic Hitman.
The Poetic Hitman. I love it. I can't wait. I'm super excited. I'm very honored to have you on the card too, man. It means a lot for me, for you to actually
yes
step up and say, when you told me, when I got the call from you and said, hey man, I want to fight on this June card, I was kind of like, really? Like I was so put back because I was like, I don't want to say starstruck, but it was more of a honor. I felt honored. I felt like I felt
you've always been a well put together you're very meticulous with what you do. So when I see your cards, there's a story behind it. It's amazing. Like you don't rush it. So that's what I like too, is that, there's sometimes it's like you see one pro, there's like every year there's like 10 fights. You've taken your time and you've been very meticulous. You select, you've managed to do that. So
well, I want to put on a good show. That's always been my goal, is to make sure that if I can put on a platform for somebody to compete, you're putting yourself on the line. Every athlete that competes on these cards put themselves on the line. And me as a promoter, when I look at that, I'm not a greaseball promoter. I actually give a shit about each and every one of you guys, like wholeheartedly. I understand the risk that you guys take. I understand the time it takes away from your family, because I see the time it takes as a promoter, the time it takes from my own family, where, putting these together and, puppeteering everything, how it works. So, but you're doing it on I'm doing that on a mental aspect, whereas you guys are doing it on the mental and
you're
physical.
still doing it, so shout out to Jamie Champion.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So June 15th at the St. Dennis Center. Tickets are still available at prospectfights.com. Get your tickets. Come watch Theo Toney smash. And thanks for coming out, man. I truly appreciate it. And you're such a gentleman, man. I'm happy you sat with me today. Appreciate it.
Thank you.